We don't have to sing high in every song. Don't have to sing high and loud, but sometimes I really like it. She's singing exceptionally quiet in this. Kia ora and welcome. My name's Zoe Shibi and I'm your vocal coach for today because today we're going to be taking a look at the vocals of Madison Beer with Bad Enough Live. She is an insane singer. We don't need to say anything more than that. But if you want to learn more about how she is creating these insane sounds, what she's up to with her vocal technique, and how can you create them, hit that subscribe button so that we can hang out together and talk about vocal technique. My favorite subject. Let's see what she's up to with the vocal technique.
I'm slipping into habits so bad. And if you take a look at my past, I don't know how to be alone. I don't know how to be alone. I know that.
Okay, I have never heard this song before, but I do know that Madison Beer is an absolutely incredible singer. So let's just go back on this, because what I'm hearing is a falsetto sound higher in the range with quite a substantial amount of air in the voice. But there's a certain trick to singing in falsetto.
Taking what is holding me back, and I feel kind of bad about that, but I don't want to be alone. No, I don't want to be alone.
Okay, this is a live performance, but it's not 100% live in the fact that it hasn't been edited on the back end. You can really hear lots of reverb and stuff like that being added on, but we'll take this as being 100% live. We're up on the B flat for the... And Madison's doing a fantastic job here. I mean, obviously she's a professional singer, right? So she's really, really close to the microphone. Low in volume though, which is really important when we're singing in falsetto. There is an increase in the breath flow, but the volume is very, very low. We'll kind of go into that a little bit more in the next break.
No, I don't want to be alone. I'm slipping into habits so bad. And if you take a look at my past, I don't know how to be alone.
I think she's actually switching between thinner vocal folds with breath in them and falsetto. So thinner vocal folds when the vocal folds are actually closed. And that's a moment where you can actually get louder on that sound. But when you're in falsetto, you can't actually get loud on the note. Okay, there's a little bit more to that than just like, can you get loud and can you not get loud? We talk a little bit more about the feeling of it and how do we start the note. And so if you want to know the difference between those two, then you can join my online singing school, the Vocal Academy, because these are the modules that we teach you step by step to really build up this feeling and this ability within your own voice so that you can sing songs like this.
Look at my past, I don't know how to be alone. I don't know how to be alone. I know that it seems easy, but I like that it needs me. My friends will say my standards are too low, but it's not bad enough to let my baby go.
Okay, now we're getting a little bit into the sort of the magic of recording. So, here we go. I think she's going into the falsetto in the higher bits. So you go, and going into the thinner vocal fold with the breath in the lower section, which would make more sense because if it was to stay in falsetto, if we take falsetto kind of out where it loves to be, then it starts to sound a little bit woofy, and we lose a bit of that timbre and a little bit of that, well, due to us having like no vocal fold closure, it starts to get into an area where the vocal folds is just kind of like flapping in the wind a little bit down the bottom. And that's not what Madison's beer is doing, okay?
I know that it seems easy, but I like that it needs me. My friends will say my standards are too low, but it's not bad enough to let my baby go.
And they go, it's not my baby, go. She's still in that thinner vocal fold. Go. Because it's still at the start of the song. We don't need to sing that loudly. Ah. So much to be said for the fact that there's so many background vocals in there, but I have got enough ears that I can go. I think she is adding in some twang in there. I don't think that she's adding in a lot of vocal fold closure. Like, she's not thickening up the vocal folds in that moment, because we're probably going to hear that later on. We know that she can, sing really loud. So when we're adding in twang, though, we are causing a bit of more vocal fold closure in those thinner vocal folds. Go! But we're actually changing the filter, which is what we call the area above the vocal folds. So we're tightening the area above the vocal folds, go, which will cause a thickening of the vocal folds a little bit. But that's not really where we're putting our locus of effort. The locus of effort, if we were putting on the vocal folds, go, would be that, go. Can you hear that one of them is substantially louder than the other? And then also the second one there, go, doesn't have as much weight to the sound, doesn't have as much as resonance as go. The other one has a little bit more resonance going on due to the thicker vocal folds. But this is something that we would need to be looking at on a one-to-one basis if you are looking to sing higher in your chest voice quality, or you're wanting to sing like Madison, where she is taking a thinner vocal fold further up in the range without going, go. That really needs to be looked at on a one-to-one basis to go like, okay, these are the specific exercises you need to look at, rather than just like blanketly giving you a whole bunch of random YouTube videos. And that's why I want you to apply for my online singing school, the Vocal Academy, so that we can really work on your technique. And I can show you from start to finish how you can improve, so that you can stop, like, I see this all the time in the studio, so that you can stop feeling like you're unable to do it, or that you can't sing, blah, 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 blah. Because you really just haven't had someone to show you the way of how you can improve properly. And that's what I'm here to do. I'll see you inside the academy.
And I know that I talk a big game, but nothing ever changes its way these days. And he says that I seem so sad.
Okay, we are actually getting a little bit more volume here. I want to point out Madison's jaw position. Sometimes she is shifting the jaw forward, and we're seeing this on a couple of the moments where she's actually bringing it forward. Now, I am not her orthodontist. She's obviously had, maybe she hasn't, maybe she's got fantastic genes. She's got beautifully straight teeth. But what this could be a matter of is an offset of tongue root tension, or it could be something that she's been instructed to do by her teacher to help her just bring in a little bit of that darkening of the tone. That does not mean to say that I want you to do that blanketly throughout your technique. This we bring in very sparingly in some singers who do need it, who either have a tendency to pull back their jaw, or they have a tendency to lock their jaw. Sometimes we just go and ask them to shift their jaw ever so slightly forward to help release that pressure here underneath on the tongue.
It's not bad enough to let go. And I know that I talk a big game, but nothing ever changes its way these days.
So she's actually, I was thinking to myself, like, she sounds a little bit Ariana Grande. No, she doesn't, because she doesn't sound quite as like bright and breathy. I know that I talk a big game. And she's swapping down into that from the falsetto. I know that I talk a big game, to the thinner vocal folds lower down, reducing the amount of breath, bringing in that timbre by closing those vocal folds. Can you say these days? Well, honestly, that low in the range, we wouldn't really worry about that sort of jaw coming forward there. But that could be something that she has been asked to do by a vocal coach, as I said. I just wanted to point out where it came in. It's hard to really notice like what is actually going on with the voice, because this has been processed so much in post-production. I do want to point out that, you know, there's a considerable amount of kind of like wizardry going on in the background here. So don't take this as being like her 100% live performance. Yeah. And I know that you talk a big lie. Actually, I want you to just look at the still that I've stopped on right here. So she's got the lips coming forward there. We're going to go back about what she's actually singing in that moment, but bringing the lips forward can actually help us to assist to raise the soft palate. She's really, I love this, you know, even though I don't want to tell a lie. When we bring the lips forward again, it can help raise the soft palate, but it can also help to darken the tone. I see this all the time in the studio where singers want to, I don't want to tell a lie, make these really wide vowels, which are not going to assist us in this falsetto quality. We're wanting to win as much of the darkening of the tone as possible. We want to win back some of those resonances that are lost because we don't have a lot of vocal fold closure. So we are hearing a little bit of the darkening coming in, a little bit more vocal fold closures. Go back on that as she's bringing in a little bit more of this chest voice here, but again, still very, very thin vocal folds. When she's going higher, she's going to go. I mean, that's not quite what she's doing. Yeah, okay, musical theater means coming out a little bit. The thyroid cartilage is tipping forward. The thyroid is here where the vocal folds live. When it tips forward, it allows the vocal folds to elongate, but also is the main difference between speaking and singing. Okay, I was sort of expecting like a slightly bigger note or something at the end, but again, maybe that's just my like bias, and I do like a bit of a, you know, high notes. Gets always. We don't have to sing high in every song. Don't have to sing high and loud, but sometimes I really like it. She's singing exceptionally quiet in this. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so close to the microphone. But you could see the way she can go. She comes a little bit away from the microphone. Obviously, you as the singer are like the first port of call when it comes to this is microphone technique. When you're singing a bit louder to not like overpower the microphone in any situation, we need to come a little bit further away. Like, don't just expect the sound person to be doing all of that for you. Yeah. So it is a really great idea. Like this is just like my light thing, you know, it doesn't have to be an actual microphone, although that would be kind of cool. I've got a list of equipment down in the description below if you're like, what do I buy, Zoe, in terms of a microphone? Sure, SM58, like workhorse of the microphone world, and not expensive. I just honestly encourage my students to use a highlighter or some sort of like, I don't know, the remote or something. They go, and move the microphone away from your mouth. Get used to pulling it away as you're increasing your volume. It's going to help your performances immensely. So, I just feel really bad for her in this song. It's not very nice to be treated like that. Hearing a baby, a little bit of the tongue compression there, pulling it back to darken the tone. Great way to do that if you're staying in a thinner vocal fold and you don't want to necessarily bring them thicker. Throughout this whole song, we're noticing a very relaxed jaw there with Madison. It's what I would expect from a professional singer. We do work on making sure that the jaw is not locking in. But what's also interesting to know, sometimes bringing that jaw forward can darken the timbre a little bit, but bringing those lips forward as well. It's interesting to notice these things all in combination coming in the last part of the song. So, but it's not bad enough to let my baby go. Got the falsetto going on at the end there. Awesome performance. I also really love the fact that the vocals stay relatively understated. And I know I said I would love to have, look, okay, we all love a bit belty moment, but actually throughout, for that whole song, I do really enjoy those vocals being relatively samey because it makes us pay more attention to the lyric. And actually when we're really listening to the lyric, which honestly is the very first time I've heard this song, it kind of makes me just go, oh. But I suppose, I hope not everybody has been there, but I suppose a lot of us have been there in that situation where it's like, oh, okay, friends don't, in that sort of situation. So yeah, lovely performance. I can't wait to have a look at more Madison Beer. We have had a look at her before, so you can check it out up here so you can keep on learning about vocal technique, how to improve yours. And if you want to improve your voice, then honestly, there is no better way to do that than one-to-one singing lessons. It's been the way that we've learned singing before now, and it'll be the way that we continue to learn singing. And it really is, there's nothing like really getting in there, getting that one-to-one feedback and actually having someone to show you what to do with your practice so that you don't feel like you're just practicing into thin air. You really know that if you do A, B, and C, you are going to improve your vocal technique. So you can apply it down in the description below. Let me know down in the comments what I should have a look at next, and I'll see you right next time. Happy singing. I need to work. It's very, very hot here. I think you can already see that though, because I'm sweating like a maniac. So I'm going to go and reapply my powder, and I'm going to say ka kite ano and say that a little bit slower. Happy singing.